Aloha and welcome to All Good Things and All Good Time. Thanks for watching my channel. It is a good day to be alive, right? Regardless of the circumstances. Um, yeah, so thanks for watching my channel. Again, if you lost your information on a hard drive in the fire, it might be retrievable, and a company who specializes in retrieving information from burned hard drives, drivesavers.com, will not charge people from Lahaina. They will work for free for these people. Nobody else. They're being extra nice in lieu of this tragedy. So if your hard drives did not reach 1400 degrees, if your pictures are still on there, get them out, send them in, give them a call. Unlike YouTube, they have customer service. All right, I'm just about there at 1 million views, so that's pretty exciting. I think there are 991,000 right now. I did make a mistake. It's Maui Alerts, a gentleman who is just a straight reporter. He reports on the news, on facts. He shows up at crime scenes and stuff like that, and just does independent reporting. I think he's been selling that off to people who might, because there's just a lack of that here on Maui. I think he moved here with a bunch of skills, and he's been slugging it out. But he's the guy that will probably be very helpful in finding out the truth, because he's working towards it. He with others have filed a lawsuit with the Freedom of Information Act to get the stuff that everyone wants to get, right, to hear the body cams, the voices of the commands, so that we can really understand what happened. I think that's really the only way it's going to happen. And then, as I mentioned before, the state attorney general has subpoenaed the three emergency services of power and the water, and so that's going to be helpful. What they discover, I'm sure all this will come in light, hopefully. What else? So, as I mentioned before, the mayor, and I wasn't accurate entirely. He's not eliminating the property taxes, but he's reducing them greatly. I think the example given on TV was somewhere between like if your property taxes were, because you've got a rental property, they're higher than if you're owner occupant by a lot. So I guess they might have been $17,000 on something just under $1 million, and now they're going to be like $6 or something. So maybe you save $1,000 a month. I don't know. That's what it sounded like to me. And then if you don't work with the system, then yours are going to go up, and I don't know how much. But that's and so that happened, right? The mayor took action, basically trying to get as many short-term rentals for all of the people who are displaced by the fire. Like places with a bedroom or two and a kitchen. And here, there are a lot of those, and they're also on the ocean. But I'm sure that the tax base is better from like a hotel room like this, so the county will make more money if they can get me and everybody else out of here and into those things. It'll probably just be cheaper and more dignified for the people, especially the people with small kids to feed. I'm gonna have my big kid to feed here pretty soon. My kid's getting kicked out. He was with me a little bit, but and he worked, and once he spent all his time at home, it was just a matter of time for his his mother kicked him out of the house. So I'm working on making it okay to be able to take him in. But that could be really good because he's a good kid, and I love him a lot. And maybe he can help me a little bit since he's not working yet either. A wonderful thing, great news, new breaking news. $2.5 million has just been set aside. I think maybe by the state. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's the state for the FEMA ineligible people who, there were people who, and this is part of the sad side of this whole thing, are the people who fell between the cracks that hadn't worked somewhere for 6 months, right, long enough to get unemployment, or didn't qualify for FEMA for one reason or another. Maybe they couldn't get the document that I finally got from a landlord, etc. And I don't know exactly how many of those people there are, but that is going to supposedly go to help provide housing, short-term rental housing. They said, actually, I think they said specifically for those people. So that's good news, because we don't want to see people living on the streets if we can put them in a home, and especially if these are families with kids. We need to help our kids grow up with as little trauma as possible. So I was thinking maybe interesting, where is the money? The Maui Invitational, thank you for coming to Hawaii. They didn't come to Maui. They said they raised $1.7 million for the people affected by the fire. Of course, so where does that $1.7 million go? Will any of the 500 people here see, or 500 families here see any of that? And then, of course, all the other, like United Way distributed $7 million, or maybe 8, probably 7. And then they sent out an email saying, we're helping provide these services. If you need to talk to a counselor, blah, blah, blah. But that's it. And I only bring that up because, the United Way gets in the way of huge donations from corporations. And I'm guessing that the amount of money that they took in on behalf of the families who were displaced by the fire is a little bit more than $7 million. Be curious. If I was governor or president or whatever, I would certainly like to find a way to be able to look under the hood, right? I want to look under the hood of all the nonprofits and all the churches. I'd like to see where the money's coming from and where it's going, and where it's being stored. Anyway, I'm a little bit of a skeptic, right? That's why I haven't made up my mind about anything about the fire, because I'm a skeptic until I see evidence to base an opinion or a decision on. I'm just not going to make an opinion or a decision. I was there. I watched it. There were power lines down everywhere. Oprah didn't start it, right? I'm not, I'm not convinced that a person designed the weather just so on that day, just to do this one thing. I mean, it's just absurd kind of things people go down. And yes, I know people can manipulate weather in some instances. It's something, you can seed clouds, I know, but nevertheless, that's a stretch. But that Maui Alerts guy, I think he's going to get down to the heart of the matter, and he's a real life journalist, right? All you people who are afraid of journalists because the Republicans have told you that it's all fake news. No, it's not. There's really good journalists out there that just hunt down facts and truth, and the only place you'll never see that is in conservative news. It's just all lies, which is funny because they're the ones accusing everyone else of lying. They try to get their people to just never listen to anybody else. Oh my God, so sad. Oh, what else? What else? I ran into a woman when I was getting my food who was passing out lawyers' business cards, right? And saying, "Do you have a lawyer? Yeah, do you have a lawyer?" Giving them to everybody in front of me, and then she says, "They only take 25%." Like anyway. So that's what's going on the street here. That happened to me. Of course. The best song, the best recovery song is still. It's got to be Andra Day, "Rise Up." If you're looking for a good song to put in your head to have a good attitude, just start thinking of "Rise Up," and that's what you women have been doing. Please keep doing that. You got to vote. Ladies, you got to get every friend out there to vote, and you got to make sure your man votes to protect women's rights, right? Right? Make sure. Like, don't tolerate any man not voting to protect your rights, right? Don't tolerate that, right? No man is worthy of you if he's voting for you to become a handmaid. So, the mayor took the action of starting this process off, right, with the taxes and everything, and then immediately I got a call from FEMA saying, "Do you need housing? And what are your needs?" And they always start out with, "Do you have any disabilities? Do you have any drugs you need? Do you need these or all these?" No, I'm fine. Okay. And finally we get through, and so they're I think that is related. Like almost immediately after the mayor decided to make this move to try to obtain short-term rentals, I think they started obtaining them right away and started calling, trying to get lists of us together. Somebody called me from like New York from FEMA, not even from right here where there's a population of people working. Like they're, outsourcing it, trying to open up more and more lines, I think, you know what I mean? Calling everybody all at once. So let's get everybody a mass migration into like housing for a year in some place with a kitchen and a bedroom kind of thing, which will be great for families. I can sustain myself pretty easily with very little, so I'm doing a little bit better in a hotel room than any parent with kids or people with pets. There's dogs all over the place. I mean, it's all more difficult for everybody else. I'm very lucky to only have me, although I'm gonna have my son here pretty soon. Looks like starting here, a couple hours. So yeah, World AIDS Day was yesterday, and may I remind all you people, especially if you're younger, but I grew up afraid, fearful, terrified of AIDS. And now people see it as like no big deal. Well, you should still see it as a big deal. And you should be wearing condoms. Wear condoms, okay? Protect yourself. And ladies, you should make your man wear a condom to protect you. All right. Yeah. It's crazy. Not to mention, there's a lot of other stuff you don't want to get, including pregnant. And that's really the only way to have fun having sex, right? Is if you're a guy, it's if, you're walking down the street the next morning, whatever, or driving home, and you're thinking, yeah, right? There's no surprises in the future. Not going to find out someone's pregnant or someone got a disease or I got a disease or whatever, right? Anyway, even though some of them are curable and some of them are manageable, none of them are things you want to get. All right. Notice my pack of confidence, a box of confidence right here is unopened still. But don't get me wrong. I'm in no hurry to get in a relationship. Gee whiz heck, son of a gun. I got some stories to tell. So this one happened like 6 months ago. And if you think you're having a bad day, it could be worse, right? Just when you think you're having a bad day, what if this happened to you? I'm working 100 yards away here on the beach. It's morning time. A nice gentleman is about to just completely explode. He asks, "So where's the bathroom?" He runs to the bathroom where there's no sink. It's a bathroom where there's a sink outside, two like lockable rooms, right? So just as he's getting into this room, his explosive diarrhea explodes. He then, just as I guess he then exploded all over the room. And there he was in a room with no sink, pants that have diarrhea all over them, a room with diarrhea all over it. And so he stays in there and uses the toilet to wash his pants and try to clean himself up as best he can. And when he finally comes out, he tells the manager what's happened. He has a little bit of shit on his face as he's saying this to her. His pants are, of course, soaking wet. He's embarrassed. That is just when you think you might have a tough day in front of you, imagine if something like that happened to you. Holy crap. I pray nothing like that ever happens to me, but if it does, I'll remember this other guy, I'll think it's kind of funny. It's kind of like when your house burns down, you're like, oh, this time it's me. That poor guy. Oh my God. And then a nice busboy went in there and cleaned up that bathroom that had been crapped all over the place. Anyway, a guy should have got hazard pay. So yeah, that's my explosive diarrhea story. Happened pretty recently. When you work in places where people are coming and going, things happen. So I got a business idea I'd like to give away because it's a good business idea. The older we get, the better we were, right? Like I was once the Maui County Novice A, Maui County champion with 5 other guys in the year 2000, right? So that could be something that I would want to put on a T-shirt, right? When my Letterman jacket just burned up, and what if a company specialized in making T-shirts where the back of the T-shirt had all your life's accomplishments, all the things that you got a T-shirt for doing, right? Let's say you played varsity tennis, or you were in the chess club, or you were the vice president of the Associated Students, or you won the science fair, or you paddled the Molokai Channel, or whatever, right? You finished the triathlon. Maybe you took first place in something. Whatever your person, we all have a list of things that you were first place in the lei making contest in the 5th grade. My daughter did that. So, right? Like, what if somebody just made it easy to make your personal T-shirt for you of all your accomplishments on the back of it? That'd be kind of a fun T-shirt to have and wear, and it would allow others to get to know you better without knowing you by looking at the back of your shirt, and it might create some engagement with other human beings that see things on the back of your shirt that they might have something in common with, right? Maybe they love to play chess and they see that you were a chess champion, and you make a new chess playing friend from your T-shirt, right? Or who knows? Anyway, that is one of my 100+ business ideas that I just probably never have enough time in life to get around to, and it's a positive one. Make the world a little bit better, giving people things to feel good about. Anyway, so that's my T-shirt business idea that's my business idea for the day. What else? The police that were murdered and beaten and abused by the January 6th traitors have been allowed to sue the traitors. So that's good. They tried to get it thrown out, their ability to sue, but now they're being permitted to sue for the and get justice for the harm that was done to them by the Confederate traitors that stormed the Capitol on behalf of the big Confederate traitor. What's his name? Jefferson Davis Trump, the traitor. And finally, when I rode a bicycle across the United States, I got to Mobile, Alabama, and the Mobile Press Register did it, riding to raise awareness for missing children and abused kids. The Mobile Press Register did a nice story. They put me on the cover of the B section. I got a room at the second cheapest place I've ever gotten a room at, a place called the Heart of Mobile. It was $17 a night. It was so hot and humid. There was a swamp cooler, that was it, down low, and about the bottom 1.5 feet, 2 feet was the only cool part of the room. The rest of it was just sweltering hot. And the floor was sticky. It was so gross. So I took the bedspread off. I learned how to do this in bad hotel rooms, just to walk on. And then I put the sheets on top of that, because they're probably the only things maybe clean in a room like that is a sheet that's been bleached. And so I put that on the floor and then slept on top of the bleach on the floor, which is right next to the swamp cooler, which is the only part of the room that was a little bit cool. And then the shower had one of those slow drains, so the water came up around your feet while you're taking a shower. That was kind of gross. But anyway, so I wake up, I get ready, I take off in the morning, I go eat. And, miracles happen all the time. I can't really explain why, but while I was in line getting food, a man and his daughter came up and just gave me like $20 and said they want to buy my lunch. They just seen me in the paper, and I'm headed out of town. And then a cop came in, and I was like, "Hey, any chance you could help me out?" And see, the thing is, Interstate 10 through Mobile, Alabama, goes under an outlet of a waterway. Right? There's a tunnel, and this cop gave me a police escort. He put his lights on, stayed behind me, and I rode through the tunnel with a police escort. But it happened, spontaneously, and it was like a small miracle. I just got some food. Somebody gave me $20. I saw a cop. I asked him. He said yes, and then I had a police escort to get out of Mobile, Alabama, and it was nice. And that newspaper article from the Mobile Press Register is one of the many little things that burned up in the fire. It was kind of cool. Anyway, that's my story from the road. I should probably have some kind of joke. I got out on the water for the first time since the fire, and on this new board that my friend gave me, and it's a pretty nice board, I think. But I like sitting down on it. It's really stable. I can go out in rough water, and so I hope to get out on the ocean and create some cool content of whales for you guys, because they're coming. Supposed to be here in 2 weeks. The 15th is the first day of whale season, so we should start seeing them really soon. They're probably being spotted. I just haven't seen any. And also often big schools of dolphins go by right here, right in front here. I've been watching those for 25 years. It's both bottlenose dolphins and spinner dolphins. I've seen them both, and it's just amazing. You'll see a bunch on the surface, and that'll be a fraction of the number that's out there. Like, there'll be a lot of them. And when there's a whole bunch of dolphins in the area, you can be sure there's no sharks. That's the one time you're pretty safe. Because sharks don't like big giant groups of dolphins. Dolphins are pretty tough. They're pretty tough. They're fearless when it comes to sharks. Yeah. So, I guess that's it for now. I had more stories I'd like to tell you, but I'll just save those for another day. Oh, Sandra Day O'Connor died. She was a conservative judge from back in the day when conservatives were smart enough not to want to take away women's rights. Boy, have they gotten stupid. Oh my God. So yeah, she was the what a conservative judge could be if they had a brain of their own. So sad to see Sandra Day O'Connor go, but she leaves a great legacy. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Try not to do anything to harm your life, right? Try not to snort shit. Don't pop pills. Don't gamble. Don't hang out with violent people. Stay out of the wrong relationships. That's most of it. Do your best. If you're going to do stuff your best. Do no harm, do no crime. Tip 20% when you go out to eat. But if you come to Maui, tip 25%. That'd be about right. Right thing to do, right? And that's all. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for supporting my channel. Thanks for your nice words. Thanks for supporting my recovery. Yeah, thanks and thanks. I don't know what else to say. I hope you like my grandpa's home movies. That the Mediterranean cruise that he took is so cool. There's so much there that I haven't shown you. There's more of Palestine, which is now Israel, which is interesting in its own special way. And then there's, I've got Egypt, I've got pyramids, I've got Rome, I've got Naples and Venice, and it goes on and on. Istanbul. In 1934, the year right after my grandpa's dad died, he had just become the president of Bradley Mining Company, and they just had a baby. They had a 2-year-old, and Grandma was watching that baby while they traveled the world. They must have taken this cruise all the way across the Atlantic just to get there in the first place, because I don't know if there was transatlantic flight in 1934. And in one scene, they show them hoisting cars on and off of it, like maybe they brought a car on board that they then drove around when they were in all these places, which would be fascinating if that's what we're looking at. It's kind of hard to tell for sure, but that might be what we're looking at. I'll eventually show you all this stuff, but I like giving you small bits of it. And he sliced it up into these small bits, like there's just 50 seconds of what was Nazareth, right? Nazareth, Palestine, which is now Nazareth, Israel. And the Sea of Galilee, I think was that one. Anyway. And then there's a lot of footage of mines, which is interesting. And it's kind of interesting because there are probably videos on YouTube of these mines now, 100 years later or whatever, 80, 90 years later, 89 years later, of course, abandoned and long since out of use and so on. So, wouldn't that be funny to find one of those videos and put it up against one of these videos that shows the mine, in working order. Anyway, gee whiz, I'm talking too much. Thanks for your patience. Have a great day. Aloha.